Hey. Hello everyone. So this is going to be the first episode I will be uploading to the new YouTube channel. For those of you who are new, who do not know me, my name is Elizabeth. I previously had a YouTube channel, Eliza King, and I just wanted to start this whole new channel for my personal business, my personal growth as a health and life coach. And yeah, I just wanted to start creating content as a health and life coach exclusively. So that is what this is. I just wanted to start off by doing a little introduction. Hello, hi, how are you? I am not new to the world of YouTube. However, this channel is brand spanking new. So if you are new, which I'm assuming you are because first upload, duh, please subscribe. And yeah, let's just get into the reaction. For those of you who are not aware, my specific niche as a health coach is I specialize in weight loss for individuals who struggle with their body image, because I personally have body dysmorphia. So I've struggled with my body image most of my life. It is getting much better now. I've improved my lifestyle and improved my relationships with others, my relationship with my own body, with food, with just myself in general, and I've been going to therapy, and it's just all been really beneficial for me. So it's a work in progress, and I just hope to help others with their own work in progress. So let's just start reacting.
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to Hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Established Titles.
We are
This
skipping
week I
over
learned there is
that.
such a thing as the fatness spectrum, where people refer to themselves as mid-fat, super-fat, and infinifat.
Okay, this is the fatness spectrum.
I'm not
Small
surprised
fat
by
is a
that.
size 18
I've heard
and
of all
lower,
of this before.
1x or 2x.
So.
I'm a 4x, 5x.
Okay.
I'm a size 26, sometimes 28. I am the super fat you say I'm speaking over.
Apparently, the spectrum doubles up as a hierarchy. The bigger you are, the more weight your opinions have. Pun intended. The more you know. But seriously, the fat acceptance, health at every size, and body positivity phenomenon has grown and changed a lot over a very short period of time. We know obesity is on the rise. We know people are considerably larger than they were only a couple decades ago.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of this has boiled down to an acceptance and normalization of obesity and being generally overweight. Stop giving your kids...
She's not wrong, honestly. We're making this such a normalized thing in our culture to where I've seen videos on YouTube where individuals are demanding a free extra seat on airlines because they're spilling over into other people's areas. So it's just, in my mind, just pay for the extra seat, for the extra room, because this is gonna be a whole thing. I can already tell. But at the end of the day, they're gonna raise the prices for everybody else. So it's a safety risk. It's more expensive. It's just not necessary. But that's just a whole nother different topic that we're not even gonna get into.
Weird sugar bowls for breakfast. It's not good. Sport brands make ads featuring significantly overweight women. Tess Holliday paved the way for obese models when she found herself on the cover.
Now the models that are promoting, the workout gear that are overweight, I have no problem with them. I find that they're very motivating for women to get out there and get active. Any kind of movement is encouraged by me personally. I encourage people, to find an activity that they like, that they enjoy personally. A lot of people do not enjoy going to the gym, and I totally get it. I only enjoy going when there's little to no people there, just because, yeah, I'm just a little weirdo. Yeah, I know. But I encourage any movement of any kind. So I do like that ad for, women of every single size in the workout gear, because that's actually promoting something. That's promoting exercise, promoting some kind of movement. I don't care whether it's going to the gym. I don't care whether it's hiking, doing yoga, playing tennis, playing volleyball, going on walks with your dog. I do not care what form of exercise you are getting, as long as you're getting some kind of exercise in your day-to-day life. So I do approve of that little ad. Tess Holliday, not so much. She's honestly every nutritionist's worst nightmare. I mean, go check out Abby Sharp's videos on her. Just go do it. Just go check her out.
Of Cosmopolitan magazine.
Love her. Love Abby.
The write-up in the magazine essentially made the claim that Tessa's 300-pound or 136-kilo weight still let her be fit and healthy. Since then, we have only seen this trend
healthy
continue,
is
and it's brought us to the undeniable
an opinion
of the issue. Companies and brands make it seem as though deeming yourself healthy is enough. It's as simple as...
I wish they wouldn't say that this is healthy, because they're projecting that onto the youth. They're saying this is healthy, this is the epitome of health, when it is not. Yes, your weight does attribute to your overall health or lack thereof, and we're promoting this to the youth by advertising this, by putting this in magazines, putting this in, commercials. We're saying this is okay, that this is acceptable, that this is the epitome of health, and it's a lie. It's not health. And, the same can be said about the opposite end of the spectrum.
Health gets, rather than actually promoting the lifestyle you must lead to actually be healthy. I often see people asking what changed to make us as fat as we are now, and honestly, it's a really good question. There was a significant shift in a bunch of different areas that brought us to this point, food being one.
So, intentional weight loss, so you purposely saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, is fat phobic. And you might be like, what? Oh my goodness, I'm not.
So, with this TikTok and everything, this basically affects my career and every single career of every health coach, dietitian, nutritionist out there, because this is going to be controversial to this community for our line of work, because we are promoting health, we are promoting weight loss. At the end of the day, that is what we are promoting, and in their minds it is fat phobic, but it's just not the case. I used to be a very chubby child, very overweight. I lost a few pounds, I still have a very different mindset of myself because of the dysmorphia, the body dysmorphia, but I am working through that. Everything's getting better, and honestly, I do like myself for how I am now. I'm sorry I'm getting super deep. This is not the time for that. But her comment, her statement, being broadcasted to young adults, to the next generation, to, who knows, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, who knows. But a lot of them are going to be taking her word at face value, and that is going to be affecting my work, my beliefs, and the work and beliefs of my colleagues, and the work and beliefs of scientists and nutritionists that came before us. So, I'm sorry, sweetie, you are wrong with saying this. We are not fat phobic. We want people to live longer, healthier lives. That is why when I talk to my clients in just our consultation, we establish anchors, like motivation, physical motivations as to why they're doing this, whether it be songs, people, places, smells, just motivation in the physical world. That's a constant reminder of why they're doing this for themselves, what kind of future they want to have for themselves. Because I don't know the mindset of some of these individuals. They don't think this is going to be affecting them long term into their 40s and 50s. There's a reason why you don't see any elderly, obese, morbidly obese individuals, and it breaks my heart because this is so preventable.
Trying to be fat phobic, but you're being fat phobic to yourself. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds? It's probably to fit into something smaller. It's probably so people treat you better. It's probably for all.
You ask any health coach, nutritionist, dietitian. We all love food. Everyone I've spoken to, at least. We literally like bond and drool over our favorite foods. We love flavor. We love texture. We love the experience of food. We do. But we know when to stop. We know our limits. We know how to be in tune with our body and what our body ultimately at the end of the day needs. And that's something that we're trying to teach a lot of other people how to do. Well, me specifically, because I specialize in habit change. But let's just continue with this.
All the reasons that fat folks are shamed simply for being fat.
No, friend. It's to avoid heart disease. This is going to be one of those videos,
girl.
isn't it? So
I love
that's
how
what
blunt
we're going
she
to
is,
talk about
but
today.
she's
The
a little
fat
bit too
acceptance
blunt for me.
movement, body
She's
positivity, health at every size.
she's a
little bit of
badass,
history,
but
a
okay.
bit of TikToks, a bit of sadness. But before you once again board
I like
my
how
hell
sassy she
gondola
is.
and this video makes
Sassy?
you feel like you want to pull
Sassy.
your own skin off, let's hear from today's
Sassy.
sponsor, a marginalized group of people who have no control over their own appearance. So much so that they have their own fatness spectrum. Can I just note here that people they don't consider fat are called straight-sized, which goes all the way up to size 18.
My God, I'm so sick of mainstream body positivity because most mainstream body positivity is just
What?
straight-sized people reassuring other straight-sized people that they aren't
Straight
fat.
size.
There's also a term, death
What?
fat, which is for people who want to reclaim
What?
their morbid fatness. We are out here celebrating people who are morbidly obese. I'm sorry to say, but we have more than earned whatever asteroid decides to hit this planet.
Time for lunch. In a cup.
But I
Morbid
digress.
fatness. They're really owning it though by calling themselves death fat though. At least they're self-aware. Like, at least they know what the heck's coming their way, but geez. Talk about death and despair over here.
Death and despair! Death and despair! Death and despair! Hello?
Underground
Jeez.
and other organizations, they weren't mainstream, but they did use many of the talking points we see today from the modern fat acceptance movement.
We demand good health care. I hate it when I go to doctors and they blame
So
all
fat
my symptoms
activists have
on
been
my fat.
around
By the
for
time the
many,
1980s
many
rolled
years.
around, haze had begun to take off in medical circles. The 70s
This is
were
nothing new.
a ride as far as fitness and diet culture went. And the emphasis wasn't necessarily being
Interesting.
healthy as it was on being thin.
I feel thin.
See, like, I've seen all of this in regards to the 70s and 80s. I've seen all of the Spanx and everything, but I never knew that they had fat activists all the way back then. That is so interesting to me. It may just because I'm 26, I'm the younger generation, but that is so interesting. You know, the more you know.
Many extremely restrictive low-calorie diets were born out of this time period. The better known of these being the boiled egg or cabbage soup diets, but there are plenty more. Something I think is worth noting here too is that in the 1980s there was a strong emphasis on not eating fat. As a result, processed foods became low in fat, but
Interesting.
that didn't mean the sugar content was lessened as well. If anything, some reading I did suggested that food companies started adding sugar instead for taste.
Well, they just amp up all of that sugar, and that just leads to you consuming it more, leading to a sugar addiction and consuming more calories.
I don't know why I said
And we start these kids real young, apparently. I'm going to be doing a video coming up where I'm reacting to basically like junk food kids or junk food kid nation or something along those lines. And I saw the thumbnail and I saw a little bit of it, and I had to stop because I wanted to react to it with all of you. Because honestly, I've realized that I love watching reaction videos of people watching things that I love. So it's just like, why shouldn't I not do this for my own business? So here we are. Oh, and for those of you wondering, yes, this is a fish tank. This is a 10-gallon, and I will be stocking this very soon. I already placed an order for some sand, some live plants, the filter, the heater, all that good stuff. So if you guys are interested, please leave me a comment, like, whatever, you know, like just to let me know what you want updates on this bad boy, because honestly, I have a little side project going on and I would love to share it with you, but only if there's interest. So let's continue. Drink your water.
Now, in 1982, a
I
best-selling
really
book
need to
titled
look into
Diet
this.
Don't
I would
Work
love
by
to
Bob
purchase
Schwartz
this.
was published. And rather than promoting restrictive dieting, Schwartz, as well as other doctors and
This is
fitness experts,
exactly
started promoting
here.
intuitive eating.
Ooh, that is a
Simply,
beautiful frame
much
to
of the
pause on.
focus was on
Anyway,
eating when
this is exactly the kind of mindset around nutrition that I was taught in school. And this is a book that I really need to look into personally. It's just intriguing because this is the person that started the whole mindset of intuitive eating, which is ultimately habit change and being in tune with your body, which is basically what we preach and practice ourselves. I mean, I'll let you guys in on, you know, I'm going to be making an Instagram post about it eventually, but you guys get, you know, the bonus first. I used to be able to eat a double at In-N-Out. Now I cannot do it. And that was before I became a health and life coach. That was before I became in tune with my body. And ultimately, I don't need all of that. I become stuffed and full just off of the fries. I now know how to order the fries. It is just, oh, amazing. And I just get a single cheeseburger and it's great. And I get a regular lemonade. And I'm gonna definitely be making an Instagram post about this eventually, about my order, about, you know, the before and after basically of my order, how I basically view food now and my mindset around food and just all of that. And I'm probably going to be making a video about it too, but not really about the In-N-Out thing, about, you know, my ideals around food and just things like that. Anyway, let's continue.
When you're hungry, eat slowly, eat what your body craves, and stop when you're full. A year after the release of this book in 1983,
all true, by the way.
Carpenter of
All
the
true.
Carpenters died of heart failure caused by anorexia. Although there is speculation she abused other medications to induce vomiting.
She's an example of the opposite end of the
People were
spectrum.
clearly and obviously shocked, and it started a public conversation about the effects of extreme dieting and the quest for thinness.
Yeah. So there's two extremes. Find a good, healthy balance.
I'm no interest in being obese. I'm just through with the guilt.
Because that's ultimately what we should be striving for, is health. Not thinness, health. I don't know why it's so hard to understand for some
One
people.
2015 study even found that people today are about 10% heavier than people were in the 80s.
I believe
even
it.
if they follow the exact same diet and exercise plans. I'm sorry to say that society has made you fat, and there's no other option for you except to go and get absorbed by your local gym. So a key takeaway is that healthy at every size still meant a smaller size than now. I will note again that by the end of the
pretty
1980s, there were still books being written about fat acceptance and how you can be
That
fat
is
and
insane.
healthy. Although, like I
Jeez.
said, these weren't particularly mainstream and they were still, at the time, quite fringe. Fast forward about 20 years and Tumblr was born. It became a safe
Yeah.
haven for social justice.
I remember the days of Tumblr. Oh my gosh, that
A year later,
feels like an eternity ago.
Tumblr, for those of you who can remember, was a weird place with weird subcultures. One of the most destructive,
True.
however, was the pro-self-damage and pro-eating disorder, or ED as I'm going to refer to it, content. A 2012 article noted that these Tumblr communities had gotten so bad and so impactful that Tumblr itself had to institute a policy against thinspo posts, content designed to inspire thin women to be even thinner. There's a lot of this online today, but on most social media platforms, including YouTube.
I remember back in the day, I used to watch Shane Dawson, and this one skit he did involved someone making themselves throw up and everything, and trigger warning, yeah. But it was a sketch with that with the character like that, and it was meant to be comedy back then, but it just feels so wrong now. You know what I mean?
Know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know what you were saying. You don't have to keep asking.
And I don't know, the reason why I paused right here is because in the video Shane used the language thinspiration, and it was just it was very much a product of its time, and it just wasn't a very good time.
All of this set much of the stage for how the body positivity movement in the early 2000s went from being about accepting yourself regardless of conventional attractiveness to actively discouraging people from associating weight with health in a...
This is a living hell for people in my field. Once more, I reiterate.
And we birthed a TikTok, the new pro-social justice social media platform. And similar to Tumblr, it has both a large ED community.
I love posting what I eat in a days as a health coach. I love watching what I eat in a days as well. You know, college students, stuff like that.
Me numbers for the National ED
Other
Association.
health coaches.
Thank you for thinking of me,
curious.
TikTok. That was genuinely nice of you. You're still demonic.
Nutritionists,
However, as
dietitians,
per
you know,
usual, you
you
can
get it.
search fat acceptance and other related terms until you're blue in the face, which they often are. But like I mentioned, the fat acceptance community we see today has morphed into something truly breathtaking. Do not make another joke about being out of breath. Seriously. In addition to centering around the elimination of social stigma and negative attitudes that might be harmful for overweight people, the fat acceptance movement has morphed into fat liberation, which we will talk about in just a second. Now, parts of this subculture believe that weight loss of any sort is fat phobic. The community actively shames you for...
I feel so bad for Lizzo. They really attacked her. I remember. Adele looks beautiful. She was beautiful before. But you know, I've always loved Adele. I feel bad for Lizzo. Good for Adele, though.
And all of this is to appease a community who will abuse you for bettering yourself.
Isn't that
the
sad?
Community who also believes certifiably untrue things like obesity is mostly genetic. They believe eating less and exercising don't work, that you can be healthy and fat.
How do eating healthy and exercising not work? In what world does that not work? I'm really curious to know who their leader is, you know? If it's Tess Holiday and Virgie Tovar, oh my gosh. Lord help us. Jeez.
Just talking about being a little chubby, we're talking obesity.
The idea that fat people are promoting obesity is nonsense.
I know.
What do you mean? Oh my gosh.
Not everybody can achieve this. So
you
the
think
skinny.
It's nonsense? Oh my gosh.
Skinny legend. Skinny legend. Soak it in.
There's one thing to be confident in your body, and then there's another thing to basically, you are promoting it though. You're flaunting it online for the younger generation to look up to you.
Soak it in, boys.
Today I'd like to take a moment to glorify obesity. Ooh, yes.
Part of the problem here is that we've seen an increase in the amount of brands and companies using genuinely obese models in their advertising campaigns, suggesting that this kind of body type is completely natural and completely normal. This is such a far cry from curvy models in days gone by who, while they weren't, waif thin, were certainly not obese or overweight. This also feeds into the fatness spectrum that I didn't know existed until recently. They're called categories, if you will, and they determine who sits where on the oppression spectrum.
Isn't
You're
that kind of
size
crazy?
18, you're significantly less oppressed than an infinifat, and therefore aren't positioned to contradict the opinions of the fatter-ups. Sometimes I feel like I'm living in an Amy Schumer comedy sketch, and
I love her comment just there. My gosh. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind.
they're just waiting to see how far they can push me before I self-delete. This brings us to fat liberation, which is just, like, you know,
her eye roll.
It's arguably the most bizarre part of this whole journey, and it's a weird cocktail of social justice and fat acceptance and gender theory and critical race theory.
I don't like how political this whole thing has gotten. This is just insane. I do not like how political
Fat
this whole
liberation
has gotten.
took fat acceptance one step further, which was already an extreme mutation.
Oh, there
of the
she is.
1980s
There she
health
is.
exercise. Fat
There's a
liberation
birdie.
isn't just about destigmatizing fatness and not being mean to people who happen to be overweight, but lashing out against the concept of thinness altogether,
Okay.
and treating fatness as though it is a discriminated against social class and an immutable characteristic.
It is not discriminatory because discriminatory implies that you cannot change it, like disabilities, like race. That's not discrimination against obese individuals because you can change it. You are choosing to stay that way. Yes, there are medical cases, yes. However, those are very rare. A lot of people are just gluttonous. But honestly, a lot of overweight people do move and they do find it frustrating to lose weight and everything. So I do believe majority of it is your diet, is what you are eating. Keep a food journal. Monitor what you're intaking. You would be surprised.
I talk a lot on this page about fat oppression, and while the fact that I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience and that should be enough, let's bring some research into the mix. Starting with employment, fat people are less likely to get the jobs and promotions they are qualified for, and they make less money than their thin counterparts across.
Are you physically able to do the job? Are you a liability to that company because you are overweight, because you may have health issues? Please ask yourself these questions.
The board for doing the exact same work.
And really, the term fatphobic is levied towards anyone or anything that takes a stance contrary to being obese. Losing weight is fatphobic, exercising is fatphobic, drinking coffee is fatphobic. You get.
Oh, sorry girl, didn't mean to do you dirty like that, doing a freeze frame like that. However, like she's saying, this is a threat to my work. This is a threat to health in general. People wanting to live longer. The next generation is not going to be living as long as the previous. And it's going to be very sad. And honestly, there's so many videos I want to do. I'm just going to shut my big old mouth. Till next time.
At the end of the day, fat activism and fat acceptance, the narratives that surround it, are the reason why people feel comfortable pursuing obesity, staying obese, and seeking to normalize it. And I have a huge problem with that. And I know I'm not alone. Not everybody is extremely thin. I think we have established that. And it's okay to be a person who has a normal kind of body.
Thin. You should not be extremely thin. That is not something to strive for. You know, it is not normal to look like Kendall Jenner and Bella Hadid. The Hadid mom, she's an almond mom for a reason. Okay? She is. Those poor girls, I pity them because honestly, they must have such a poor, warped relationship with food.
A normal shaped body, an average person, if you will. But trying to say that being extremely overweight is something to emulate, something that should be achievable, is not for the betterment of our society. I'm certain a lot of these people, the activists, the TikTokers, the bacons, want to believe that you can be fat and healthy. They want to believe that obesity isn't actually a massive problem. They want to believe that they don't actually have to shoulder any responsibility for their physical appearance.
They want to live in denial, essentially.
Perceived by society. We are legitimately starting to normalize not curvy bodies, but actual obese bodies. Because it's easier to join a community and a movement that attributes everything to fat phobia and doesn't ever expect you to better yourself, that excuses your weight and your appearance and the overall bad habits that you probably have, than to push back and fight against the sedentary life.
You should want to be better than you are today. You should strive for more. That is what I preach as a life coach. Not just as a health coach, but as a life coach. As, you know, like someone who advises others on what to do to have a better life, to have a more satisfying life, a more meaningful life. You should never be satisfied with the way things are. You should always strive for more. Not, you know, to the extremes or anything, but you should want your kids to have more than what you had. You should want to have a nice house to live in. You should want to have more time with your family. You should want more. A quality life. I know that's an opinion, what a quality life is, but a quality life for me is to be happy and healthy and surrounded by people that you love and love you. That is just my ideal life.
Lifestyles that a lot of us have are processed foods and our overall inability to commit to a healthy lifestyle. But you know,
and we choose these foods out of convenience. But did you know that even if you bought food at the grocery store, it can still be out of convenience? You know, they bring it right out to you using the app. That's what I do. Heck, you think I go into the grocery store? No. I take my dog with me. We park in the little, numbered stall, and they bring it out to the trunk, and I tell them thank you, and we're on our way. And I pick everything I need to in the app. And we pick fruits and vegetables and proteins and carbs, and I get some dark chocolate because I like it and it's good for me. It can be convenient. It totally can be. It just all depends on you, your personal wants and likes, and just portion control. That is a big part of it as well. Take responsibility. Go and find food that you like. Be adventurous with your food. Find an activity that you enjoy doing. And if you do struggle, if you do need that extra assistance at the end of the day, here, I'm going to take these off because we're done with the video now. But if you do need that extra assistance at the end of the day, if you do need that extra support, that extra support system, that cheerleader to lean on, I do encourage you to reach out to either a dietitian, a nutritionist, or like myself, a health coach. It all depends on your personal needs. There are so many health coaches out there that specialize in so many different niches. So if you feel like I'm the one for you, go ahead and email me at coloradohealthcoach@gmail.com. Once again, that is coloradohealthcoach@gmail.com. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!